Hello and welcome on this Monday afternoon. Thanks for joining me. It's me here, Santa's little helper. Well, not so little, but I'm still here. Thanks for joining us anyway. For anybody that doesn't know me, I'm actually Simon Williamson, and I'm here from the Evergoing design team. But for these next couple of weeks, I'm just Christmas focused. Who could not be? It's such an exciting time of year. I can see lots of people have joined us already. So hello to Elizabeth, Roxy Lee, Sue, Tracy. There's some other people joining us. How exciting. A couple of weeks till Christmas. I hope you've all got your cards and your presents done, but I'm here for some inspiration if not. So let's start off with the first demo. So the first one I'm going to do is a photo frame card. I think it's a really quirky design we can use. And you can put your own little photo in this little slot. So if you're actually making this as a gift for somebody, they can choose to put their picture in as well and gift it to somebody. So let's get started. Let's show you how to make this card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I've got my card blank and I've just got a nice piece of backing paper that I got in my own stash. So let's get this put onto here. I'm just give that a bit of glue. Roxy Lisa's looking fabulous. Well, got to make the effort, haven't we? It's only once a year. Just pop that onto there. Give that a good push down to make sure that's all in secure. And then I'm going to do now, I'm going to put some little, a bit of a ribbon here on the edge. We might as well do this while we're at this position. So I've got my hole punchers. So I'm just going to punch through 2 places on this spine. And I brought some little gold brads. Use whatever colour you want to, but I like this kind of technique. Ooh. I'm just going to push them down. Same again. Ooh. There you go. So we've got our rivets in place. I'm just going to push that one through a little bit more, so it's just not kind of grasped it as much as I'd like. I can salvage that. There you go, let's put another rivet in there. I could push down. There we go. So we've got 2 rivets now on the spine there. And I'm not bothered that it's holding the card together because it'll still open up, which we can put a score line at the back there. So let's leave that for now. We're not going to put the ribbon in yet, just because we're going to be stamping onto this later. Let's get that to one side. Now we need to make the actual photo frame element, which is this little square here. I'm going to show you how to make this, and then you could choose whether you put this onto a card, or you could actually do it with like craft board. You put a magnet on it, and you get a nice little fridge magnet you could give to somebody as a gift. And the way I've done that, I've used my nesting dies. I'll just get a piece of red card. Okay, so what we need to do is we need 1 outer, which is the biggest one, which I've already pre-cut to save a bit of time. And then we need 3 of these, which is like 2 sizes down, so you've got like a good border around the edge there, okay? So let's get this one cut through. I've got lots of tape on this as well to keep it from moving. Pop that through. I've already cut a few more ready ahead of time there. There's lots of you joining us. Hope we're all having a mince pie out there. Nearly there. So we'll just push that bit out. that's going to form our compartment for his actual photo. And I need one more piece, which is using the same outer, but I've just used a slightly smaller inner die to make an aperture that's a little bit smaller, and then that'll cover the workings of the mechanism for us. Right, so let's assemble this then. I'm just going to move those dies out of the way. So this is our back panel. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a light nibble here, and you can put a little die onto it if you want to, but it's just somewhere that'll enable you to pull the photo in and out afterwards. So let's give that a little bit of a cut there. That's fine. And then we've got these squares that I've cut out. I'm going to glue these together to make them more rigid, and this will give us the aperture for his photo to slide in. So what I'm also going to do is this top bit here we don't need. I'm just going to cut down there. I'm going to do the same at the other side. So make sure they're all level. There we go. We've got like a U shape, so to speak. Right, let's get these glued on. So let's get this one down first. You don't need too much glue either, so you don't want it to squash out. I'm going to put them on top of our backing. Push them right up to the edge. Make sure that's leveled up. Give that a good push down. I'm going to put the next one on now. So a little bit of glue around the edge. I'm going to make sure these line up as best as we can on the one that we've just stuck down, and then that way we're going to get a nice box coming in inside of here. Put this third one on. There's such a simple way of doing this as well. And if you do it out of craft card or something a little bit more heavier, you'll be able to make this into like a fridge magnet, and then somebody could put it onto the fridge as well. So that will easily withstand a magnet on the back. So I'm happy with that, so I've got the depth there I need, and that's where the photo's going to slide in. So I'm now going to put this front cover on, and you can see that this aperture then covers up that kind of insert, and that gives you some wiggle room with your photo then. Let's get a bit of glue around this edge. Let's pop that on there again. Give that a good push down. And then we've got our little sliding photo frame there. And then we need to have a little bit of bling, don't we? It's Christmas. So I've cut out a bit of a gold frame using one of the matte and layers from the Congrats star stitching dies from the Stamps by Me range. So I thought this one with the little stars, I'll just pull in the stars of the backing paper. So I've cut that out. Let's get a bit of glue on this. All the way around the edge. Just trying to miss where them stars are so it doesn't squash out. And then that'll just give us a nice frame to go around this part of the photo. There you go, push that down. Tracy says she's been eating mince pie since the beginning of November. Can't blame you, Tracy, I've got to say. That a good push down. There you go, so that's our photo frame. So we've got that element made now. So I'm just going to leave that up at the top corner. We need a little friendly character now to go on there. So I've already started watercolouring some of the images. I've got the little rabbit there with the balloons, and I've got this lovely elephant here. I'm not wanting this balloon because we're going to pretend he's holding on to this rabbit when we assemble it. Let's get a bit of colour onto him and bring him to life. I'm just going to use the watercolours this time. You could use your ink pads if you prefer. Let's give a little bit of grey into him. Although you can make him any colour you want. Let's brush that around. Bring that colour right down onto his arms and his trunk. I'm just going to add a little bit of black to that to make it a bit darker. And then we can just start building up a bit of depth. I'll drag that around into his hairline, down his trunk, give it a bit of dimension on that way. We need to give him some ears now, so let's go for some pink, I think. I've already got the red. I always tend to just do it on the scrap up here to make sure it's not too dark, but just going to drag that through from his ear. And don't forget, they always dry back a little bit lighter as well, so don't be worried if it feels too dark. And I'm just going to make it slightly darker, and I can just brush some of that from those lines. Gives you a clue where the shading goes. There we go, so that's our first one. So let me just get my dies now to cut him out. We've got our big one there. Like I said, I'm only bothered about the actual elephants. Let's get that stuck in place. And then we'll have that for his little friend. Make sure that lines up around him. So we all done his Christmas cards then. All finished making. We've still got some more to make. I've still got some to make. Been that busy lately. Oh, I'm trying to read them, and I think somebody's at the chocolate advent calendar. I've been no good with that, I tell you. So we're going to pull out our little elephant holding the balloon. And we've got our character there, so let's move them to one side. Put them over there. Right, so on this bit here, I'm going to lose the balloon at the top, because I don't need that. So let's just cut that bit off. I'm going to put a little bit of glue where the little bit of the balloon was at the bottom, where you tie it. And if I put this cute little bunny on there, it's like the elephant's holding the bunny from flying off. Look, so it's got the balloons attached. Make sure that's glued. I'm going to put them over there now. I'm going to come back to this bit now. So we just need to put a sentiment onto this. And you need to make your elements first to decide where your sentiment's going to go. So that's why I've done it this way. So I've brought a sentiment with me from my stash. It's an old one. It's just a Merry Christmas one. But we need to know roughly where we're going to lay these things down. So let's say we're going to have that over there. And we're going to have that down there. So I know I can put my sentiment in this area here. And I'm trying to get the Christmas to be in line with the bottom of the frame, and then that way it gives it some kind of symmetry, really. How's it going? So I think that's a good position. We'll just take those back off now. Give that a good push down. I'm going to go in with VersaFine Black. You could emboss this if you wanted to, but I think the black does a really good job of sticking out on this backing paper. A good push down. I'm going to do it a couple more times just because it's textured, so I want to make sure we get it as crisp as possible. One more time. Elizabeth says, I dropped it down the craft room floor, which is laminated, and it skidded off, never found it. I know that it's like socks, isn't it? I swear when I move out my flat, there's going to be a stash of little dies, really tiny ones that I could never find. Terrible. Here we go. Take that off there. Right, so we've now got all our elements to start building this card up. So I'm going to start off with putting some ribbon into these holes here. So I've just brought some red and gold ribbon from home. Let's get a piece of that. I'm going to thread it through the front and take it right around the back. He says. And take it up this one. And just turn it over while I straighten this ribbon out. Make sure it's flat. And then we can tie a nice bow in this. Just adds a bit more detail, doesn't it? There we go. Not the best at bows, but you get the gist. I'm going to just fold this in half. And then when we cut it, and get a nice tail to that ribbon. I'll do the same again. There you go. So I've brought some foam pads with me as well, so I'm just going to grab those. Let's put some on the back of our little characters. And put him right down here in the corner. And then I know it's all going to line up what I want it to be. Just get the others. We'll turn this over. I'm going to put some around this. I need enough so it sticks, but you're also going to have to bear in mind that because it's on an angle, I don't need to put any at this like top section. So if I put a few across there, it'll tell me where to stick them below. A few more. So I can see some people have still got some cards to make. So it's not just me then. I had all the plans as well to be decorated for Christmas now, and it's just not happening. So let's put that. It's an angle there. I'm trying to keep it level with this Christmas sentiment, and it gives it a little bit of uniformity. And then you just need to pop your picture in. That'll just slide in nicely. There you go. Nice picture there, look, from a non-elf. But it just shows you how easy it is to make that photo frame effect. And that's something you could easily do and give to somebody to put on the fridge. You could make it repositionable on the card itself. You could take it back off, but it just looks nice, doesn't it? Quick and easy. And you don't need a special day. I'm sure you've all got your matte and layering dice for that. So let's leave you some inspiration for the actual elephant collection now, while I set up for the next demonstration, which will be Christmassy themed as well. Can't get enough Christmas, I promise you, so I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Welcome back. It's me. I'm now a turkey, look. Gobble, gobble, gobble. You can't get more Christmassy, can you? I'm trying for you. So I hope you like that first demonstration. And the next one I've got is a lovely quick card, but I think it's really effective. And it just uses a bit of tartan. And I'm going to be using one of the Stamps by Me stamps, Merry and Bright, which I'm sure some of you already own. Because it's got a lovely, oh, I'll get out the shot, look, there you go, it's nice. It's just got a nice florally kind of look to it. It's not too complicated, and it really just brings that card to life. So let's get started on this one. So the first thing I've got is a top folding grey card, and I've got a piece of tartan paper. So let's get that in position. I'm just going to use the tape runner for this. Make sure we've got enough on there. And then we're just going to line it up at one side and take that across, make sure that's stuck down well. Nothing says Christmas as much as a bit of tartan, does it? Or a turkey out, depends. So I'm just going to chop off the excess now, and I can use that on the trimmer. So I can see with the guide that I've got. I can keep that for another project. So let's make our centerpiece now for this one. So it's from this set anyway, Merry and Bright. So I don't know if you've got this at home, but it's got a lovely sentiment in there. And I'm going to be using this kind of mistletoe that's hanging down there. There's really nice big images as well. So let me get my stamping platform. Ooh, I think I might go for a carvery after this. I don't know why that. I think it's on my mind. Or just get a foam let. Oh, here we go. I've got two Eurekas on go, that's why. So I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to put this square in there, which I've already pre-cut. And I want my sentiment to be dead in the centre. And that way, it's going to be the most focal bit of this card. So let's get that exactly where we need it. Give that a good push down. I'm going to use the black ink again. Give that a good push down. I want to make sure that this is really crisp because this is going to be the main focal point of the card. Give that another. There you go. So we've got nice sentiment there. May your days be merry and bright. Can't speak, look. Too many sprouts. Okay. So now we've got the centre point. We're going to use our lovely mistletoe stamp, which is a really big one. And we're going to use this to frame the sentiment. So we're going to randomly stamp this to create a pattern all the way around. So let's move this upwards first. And then we can play around with these corners, so to speak, first of all. I think that's a good positioning for the first one. So I'll pick that up. Tracy, I've got the Christmas tree version of that hat. I'm not wearing a hat, Tracy, what are you on about? You've got to have a bit of fun at Christmas though, haven't you? And then let's turn that around a little bit. And when I think we're going to go for that bit there. And don't worry if you leave like gaps in these areas, but we can always go back in afterwards and add a little bit more detail. And then I think we can go, I think we'll go this way this time. Give that a good push down. If you've got one of these hats, Trace, I think you should put a picture on the group. There you go. Oh, just a little bit more. There we go. We'll just turn this around again. I think we need that corner there. You can see you can really spend a bit of time building this up, but it's such an effective technique. And I'm sure you've all got like a floral stamp out there you could do this with. So I need a little bit of a detail there, so I'm just going to go in with this stamp. Let's have a look, which way can we do this? I just think I need to move that up. Just move that towards the corner now. I need some kind of image to go here, so let's have a look. I think I'm just going to pop it in there. I'm going to move my magnet out of the way. Pick that up. I don't want to go right up to the centimetre, so I want to give it enough space to really shine on this card. That a good push there. And I think the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a slight berry down there just to break that bit of white up. There you go. I'm happy with that. So let's take that out of the way. Okay, so let's bring in the watercolours again. I'm not going to be too precise with this. I just want a nice green colour. I'm going to water that down. And then that'll enable me just to paint in these mistletoe leaves. And if you go over the edges, it really doesn't matter. We're just going to give a bit of green colour to all of those. You can do the stalks if you wish to as well, but I don't think it needs it. There we go, a little bit more green. Turn this as we go. I'm just going to get like a flat colour onto these first of all. And then we can go back in if we want more detail afterwards. Change my green a bit, make it a little bit darker. And on to these last few. You can see that that green's really popping already. So I'm just going to go in now with a slightly darker green. And just pick out a few areas just to enhance it. So I'll have a little bit on these. And it'll just break that tone up a little bit so there's more than one going on. There you go. And I'm going to mix up a red now. I'm going to make it quite strong, this. I'm just use my brush. I'm just going to put a little bit of red onto these berries. Now, you can have them red, or you could leave them white if you wanted to and be mistletoe, but I like the red. I think it's very festive. And it's really fast to do as well. You could easily bulk produce these cards. Turn it around a little bit more. So I'm not fussing about colouring them fully. I just want to give the kind of illusion that they're a red berry. Cranberry. That goes well with turkey, doesn't it? Thinking about it. These last few on this side. It's like one of those I Spies, isn't it? You spot a berry that you've not done afterwards. There you go. So we've got our nice little image there. We've got our green foliage and our little red berries. And then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to really water down some of this green. And we're going to give it a few splatters. I'm just going to move that card out of the way so I don't ruin it. And we're just going to give them some really fine splatters, just to break up that background a little bit. So there's a bit of green there, and then we're going to go back in with a red. And it doesn't have to be heavy, so I think the little light speckles really help frame that sentiment. There we go. Just breaks it up a little bit. And I'm just going to move that stamping platform out. I'm going to mount that onto a black matten layer, just because I really don't think you need to do a lot more to your artwork there. So a little bit of glue on the back. Get that in position. I'm just going to turn this over so I don't get ink on it. Give that a push down. We've got that, we've got our card, so we can stick that into place. I think actually if I've got any foam pads, I have. Let's raise it up a little bit to give it a bit more depth. Move them off the way. I'm going to do it at a slight angle that way, so I think that looks a little bit more arty. And then we've got our little cute elephant here with the love arts. Let's give him some colour as well. They're so fast to colour these in, I'll tell you. If you just follow the lines that are already there for you, you know where to put the shade in. So just take that grey around the top. You could always give him a little Christmas hat as well if you want to. We did that last week. If you go back and watch the video, you'll see that. And it was really easy to transform into a Christmas little character. Just taking that grey through its body. I'm just going to darken that a little bit with a bit of black. And then, same as before, just add a little bit more tone to some areas. I'll make down its trunk. And its forehead, a little bit round. And then we'll just highlight some of its legs to give it a little bit of darkness as well. Under its chin. Let's go for some pink. Just get that into his ears, just to break them up a little bit. And then let's go for a really bright red. So I'm going to be quite strong on this pigment. And then we can give this heart a real pizzazz factor, doesn't it? It just jumps out. There we go, that's our little elephant. We'll just give that a quick blast with a heat gun. Just make sure that's dried. I'm happy with that. So we're just going to bring in our die plates again. We'll get our little fella chopped out. Nice big dies as well with these collections, so they're really easy to line up, especially if you're crafting with your kids and that. Really easy to join in. We'll just move that over just a tad, it's just slit. There we go. We'll just pop that through. Oh, it's getting warm in this hat, I tell you. Here we go, we've got our cute little elephant there. There's got some foam pads just to go at the back of him. Pop that down, and let's have him stuck just down here in this little bottom corner. And I'm really happy with that. Stand that up for you. It's just really classy card, that one. You can see, you know what I mean, with the tartan as well, it just really adds to it. And I love how that sentiment pops as well. And I didn't have to emboss it, it just really just pops on its own merit. So I think it's a brilliant kind of card, that one. So hopefully you enjoyed both of those. 2 different cards for you. You've got your photo frame card with a picture of Simon, who's normally here. Obviously, it's just me today, the elf. But just really nice, quirky cards, aren't they? Something you could have fun doing with the stash that you've got at home, and I'm sure you could get your, you know what I mean, your friends to join in with you making these. I love the photo frame idea, but you could put a magnet on the back and give it as a gift to somebody to put on the fridge. And we've all got nesting dies, I'm sure, in the stash. That would be really easy. So let's have a look at a few comments. So, aren't you hot, Simon? I am, Roxanne. I reckon I'm 20 minutes off being fully cooked, if I'm honest. Well, I'm glad you've enjoyed that anyway. So thanks for joining me this week, and I will see you next week at the same time, 1 o'clock, for probably our last show of the year, really, won't it? So I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me. See you later. Bye-bye.